Good morning. Before I get started, let me give you a scenario. Keep it in the back of your mind till toward the end. I'm gonna use myself as the scenario. Someone came to me and told me, wearing a black suit is no good. You have to be feeling bad because you're wearing a black suit. If I were you, I would just feel so bad that I'm still wearing this black one. Because you have to change it. Get out or get off of this and change it. And if you don't want to change it, you're going to live the rest of your life with the guilt that you're wearing a black suit. Or the last one, someone came to me and told me, well, brother, I feel you're going to look nicer in this polo. Let me show you how to take off your suit and wear it on. And show me how are you going to look in this gray polo. Well, keep this scenario till the end, and I'll let you know why I said that. First of all, thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed being here the first and second service. I did all my rehearsal, and now we're on the real thing. So, thank you. And of course, I did not say that scenario in the first and second service. So, I'm glad, and I wish if I'm going to ask you a question, you're going to tell me, we do. So if I'm going to tell you, thank you for having me and inviting me to be here. Who invited me? Oh, good. Thank you for keeping praying for us as a family and a ministry. Yes, can you do it louder a little bit, please? Please, I'll give you the microphone if you want. Okay, we have been through a lot, especially on the war zone and then the earthquake and everything, but we kept it going and we're safe and sound because... Yes, you do, because you pray. One time, Pastor Gary, way time in the back, I told him, can you please pray for me for this and this and this? He told me, oh, well, meet with me on Monday night at the church. I told him, why? He told me, I'm going to get some people from the church because my church, they know how to pray. I told him, really? He said, I'll bring you 5 or 6 people, we're going to pray. I told him, done. And sure it's done, because you do. Thank you for keeping the ministry growing and working effectively because of... Yes, you do. The ministry started back more than 30 years ago, and now it has 4 divisions, ministry 4 divisions. But I'll tell you a good news, because 18 other ministries in the Middle East, they approached our teams and told us, can we wing side by you? Can we work with you? You know, to hear about partnership, this is so scary. But to see it working effectively for 17 years, you know, God is behind it. And yes, you do, because you're fueling this. I'm here and I'm grateful because of all what you did to my family. And we as a family are so grateful, but I'm grateful more for what you have done to the ministry. When I came here, I give a special thanks to Pastor Rudy, because basically I see what's happening and I'm following this online, and I'm seeing how God is keeping the church growing, and I love seeing St. James this way. So I wanted to tell Pastor Rudy, thank you for having me, and thank you all for having me. And I wanted, for people never saw me, I wanted to introduce myself. So let me introduce myself this way, and I'll try to make it from the beginning to the end. Well, that's me. That's the year I was born. It's classified. Don't tell it. Don't post it on the internet. But that's the year I was born. Anyway, that's really me, okay? And January 23rd of January 1979, I accepted Jesus and I was born again to join God's kingdom. And by the way, this is my real weight. It's not because of Monjaro or Ozempic, okay? You know why? Because, my daughters, they're all in medicine, told me, that's not because of Ozempic, because your head is small. If you're using Ozempic, you're going to have a big head. I thought, yes, I understand that. Well, back in 1986, the ministry started. So it has been going on now for 38 years because you do pray. And you're going to continue. That's me, by the way, the crazy one in the front doing this. And the ministry kept growing with the idea and the vision just to be heart and hand of Jesus for the church. We don't do charity. We don't do relief and rescue. We do it as a bridge, but that's not what we do. What we do is the church. Planting and replanting churches. Discipling and getting people to grow. This is what we do because of you. And I'm really grateful. If you really need to know more and more about the ministry, you have in the back 2 newsletters. One is burgundy. I think I got the color finally correct. You may enjoy reading about the 4 divisions and the partners of the ministry on your leisure time. And that's the 4 ministry title. Back in 1994, God saw I cannot do it by myself. So he sent me the dream of my life. And I got married to Susie back in 1994. It has been, 30 years now. I was working with Pastor Chuck Smith, the one you have seen him on the movie Jesus Revolution. I have been working with him for 2.5 years, and he got us married. And guess what? I told him our wedding is going to be so big, 286 people. And by the way, 280 of them, or not 200, 260 of them, they never been in a church. He said, it's a crusade. I told him, regardless, we're going to get married anyway. And he came and we really had fun. Because out of our wedding, 15 people are now in a full-time ministry. 4 of them on the mission field. Praise God. That will bring me to the idea, before I continue, there is 2 prayers I wanted you to stop praying them. Please stop praying them. 1, the first prayer, stop telling God, bring us a revival. God is going to send you to a psychiatrist. You know why? Because basically we live in it. We live in it. You don't see it because you don't look for it. You don't live it. You don't know about it. You don't pray for it seriously. We live in it. So don't get God to send you to a psychiatrist, please, because we live in it. Second thing, don't ever pray, God, please stop persecution. I'm going to tell God, don't listen to you. Why? Just keep it going. Keep it going. For the kingdom benefit and sake, keep it going. Because that's the only reason, that's the only vessel, that's the only vehicle God fueling and growing the church. So don't deprive the church from the water. They say 60% of the body is water. Fine. 60% of the church is persecution. So don't get the church to be deprived of this. And don't ask God, please stop wars. No, please. I'm addicted to war, disasters, earthquake, and problems. I don't know if you can send me to a psychiatrist, but he's going to fail to treat me of this because Everywhere I go to see a problem or disaster or war, I see God is moving extraordinary speed. So why should we stop it? If he knows how he do it in that kind of circumstances, let him do it and don't ask him to stop to do it. Why? Because he's doing an amazing, amazing work, and I'll share that with you. 2004, back in this room, I got married, and we as a family got married to St. James. And we signed a contract this morning when I came to speak to Sunday school, and that was a really day in my life. 10th of July, 2004. I still remember. It has been 20 years now. This is my family, and this is the wedding of our oldest, Timothy, got married to Lena, and this is my 3 daughters, Hannah, Holly, Helen, with the chronological sequence. And by the way, when you look at them and look at Susie, my wife, you're going to say, oh, Google will be so confused if we're going to search for any one of them, because they're one copy of the same person, which is Susie, of course. And I'm glad they are here with us this service, because that's the real service. I'm not saying anything. Anyway, 2024, Timothy brought us our first grandbaby, Yara. She's 6 months now. And as you see, she's into cell phone from the beginning of her time. And you look at Yara and you look at Susie when she was young, you can tell the gene is so dominant. Susie's gene is so dominant. So that's my family, and I'm so grateful that you have been praying for my family. Hannah is going to finish nurse practitioner degree at Duke this December. Holly is joining Duke this January to be an oncologist. Hannah will be a woman health and endocrinologist. And then the baby, Helen, she joined ORU this week. So it's, as Pastor Wary always say, okay, medical missionaries, okay. He always call us the medical missionary. And by the way, I never told them to be in medicine. They're the one loved it because of, not we do now, because of Susie. Okay? This is what happened in 2023. That's why I told you God knows how to move among this. Back in Turkey and Syria, an earthquake happened, 7.9, and repeated, 7.8, 7.9, 7.6. God shook the earth. And sure enough, they say the end result of the total death out of this persecution is 61 to 65,000. That was absolutely wrong, because I was there and I am there till now for the last couple of years. Total number of deaths between Syria and Turkey was 313,000 people. That was massive. So if you're going to feel bad, don't, because God did something really amazing. I'm not saying we're going to pray God to do it again. No. But this is what happened. Thousands and hundreds of thousands of people got displaced. Turkey is the largest country in the world have refugees. They have 4 million. Out of this series of earthquakes, 2 million got displaced in the street, in tents, in nowhere. They were sleeping on curbs. And is that like a circumstances God can move? Yes. And he did it. That's why don't ask him to bring a revival. It's there. And it's happening. And it's here as well in the States. Believe me. You have to believe me. You have to believe me. And I can tell you a story or two of what's happening here in the States. Well, this is what really happened in Turkey. And out of this, when people scattered everywhere, and by the way, this is a rock artist did it like collect rocks and do this. It's amazing kind of work. This is what we have seen over there all the time. Back in the left side, you're going to see my tent. It's the orange one. And sure, I enjoy being in this tent for maybe in one tent for 4 months. That's a record. But on the right side, this is a church. See how much of a destruction happened to everywhere over there. Out of this, God was just moving among people. These 2 young men approached me and they told me, can we be your assistant? I told them, yeah, sure. And I taught them real good medicine. And I taught them how to do vitals, how to take vitals, how to do dressing changes. And I taught them everything. The one on the left came to me and told me, are you Christian? I told him, yes. How did you know? He said, well, we have heard about you guys. Nobody does what you guys doing unless they are Christian. Because there's lots of help and lots of relief, lots of organization, the UN this and the UNESCO this, the AFAD this and everything. But no, your heart, you guys' heart are different. So I told him, did you know anything about Christianity? He said, no, some. I told him, did you know anything about Jesus? He said, oh, well, I have heard he's a hero like a Superman. And they stayed with me for several months, and now they are workers in the church. Why? Because God did it. I did not tell them anything. They heard the name of Jesus, the one that team, led us to sing today. Sing the name of Jesus and you will see what's going to happen. Sing the name of Jesus. This young lady on the left came to me and told me, you've been in my dream yesterday. I told her, sure. What did I do? She said, well, you came and told me, can I be your dad? So I told her, so what was your answer in the dream? She told me, of course I said yes. I told her, sure, let me call my wife. And I told Susie, add to your album. We have 2 more daughters. So far we have 24 daughters and sons out of the earthquake. We call them the earthquake sons and daughters. I love them to death. But anyway, they're going to kill me one day because they're so active. Anyway, the other one told me, I'll be a doctor and you're going to teach me how to be a doctor. I thought, okay, listen to my heart. And then when I got her the stethoscope, and she said, oh, wow, your heart is speaking to me. I told her, what is my heart is telling you? She said, oh, you're telling me I love you. I told her, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Look at this generation. I love him. Let me tell you why I said, don't tell God, bring us a revival. I've been telling the church here for years and years and years, God is doing something. When I was in the war zone in Syria, by the way, they have estimated finally, end of 2021, the total number of destructive death or war destruction in Syria estimated to be the biggest in history, and it was 396,000 died in Syria because of the war. But Turkey is not far away from Syria, so they have their own luck with what Jesus did. Lena, she's 5 years old. Earthquake happened. She got trapped under a wall, concrete wall of the living room. Nobody can hear her. She stayed there for 2 days. Nobody can hear her cry or scream or anything. She lost her mom and older brother. Her dad was about to die looking for her, could not find her. Then in 2 days, another earthquake happened, 5.9, cracked the wall, and finally she started screaming again, and they have heard her. Her dad came running, and he was excited. He got her out so quickly. She was injured bad, and I took care of her for 2 weeks, cleaning her wounds, dressing changes, and everything. And when she started speaking, she told me, what is this picture? I told her, that's lighthouse. She told me, light? Is it similar to the light which was with me under the wall? And I was not surprised, because ever since I went to Syria 2014, I started to be immune from the surprise, because I have heard in Syria stuff I never imagined that I would hear it in my lifetime. So I told her, what light? She told me, there was a light, was with me under a wall, big, bright. I could not even look at it. And there was a voice talk to me from the light. I told her, what the voice told you? She told me in a week, she told me the first thing the voice kept repeating, that I love you, I love you, I love you more than even your mom. She didn't know her mom is gone. So I told her, Lena, out of what you have told me, and she told me a lot, there is no time to tell you all what the voice told her. You're going to cry and cry and cry. And I really recommend to do what I've done in Turkey. I don't use napkins. I don't use towels. I use my T-shirt. That's why I carry extra T-shirts with me all the time. It's cheaper to use your T-shirt to dry your tears. So I told her, can you tell me what's the name of the voice? She told me, I can't remember. I told her, okay, I'll keep repeating names. And if you just remember what name you have heard from the voice, just tell me that's the name. Muhammad, she told me, no, that's my dad. Ahmed, that's my brother. Gabriel, no. Michael, no. Haney, told me that's your name. I told her, yeah, good. Okay, how about Yeshua? She told me, yes, that is the name. I remember. He repeated that name very frequently. I told her, did you know this is the Arabic name of Jesus? His name in Arabic is Yeshua. Which is coming from the Hebrew name of Yeshua. She told me that is the name. I was not surprised. But this, now she is 6.5 years old. Because of her story, managed to bring all her family. So don't pray, God, we need a revival. But just tell him, God, let me live it. Let me be part of it. Because it's here as well in the U.S. It's not in the Middle East only. Look at this. I told you the earthquake was really bad, was really awful. I went around and I've been told among the refugee, the Iranian, Iraqi, Kurds, Kurmanjis, Yazidis, Zorgachis, Syrian, Kurdish Syrian, among the 4 million, there is 116 churches in Turkey. In a country, the total number of local Christian is 0.001%. And they have no churches over their Turkish population. They have no churches more than 12. That's the biggest church in Turkey. So I went around to around 24 churches to discover they're big. That's one of the small churches. They're big. Pastors are not Christian. Elders, not Christian. Deacons are not Christians. Attendants are not Christian. Praise and worship, they were not Christians. They all came to join the kingdom because of God's work. So don't ask God to bring us a revival. It's enough. I would tell him, God, thank you for what you have sent. Keep us working in what you have sent. One time, I discovered that all the pastors, deacons, and elders, everyone in the church, never had a theology education. Never had. To the point, I'm not ashamed to say that, and it's okay to say it. I was with a pastor and his wife, and they were leading a Bible study, and he said, let's open our Bible and read from John 10. So his wife and him, they started looking for the Gospel of John from the beginning, from Genesis. So, because of you, I really mean it, and I'm going to repeat it. Because of you, and I know you were behind this. Last July, which is last month, the first seminary for pastors and church leaders started in Turkey. And first class started of 24 pastors. They never had any theology education ever in their life because they were non-Christian. One time I told them, I feel so strange among you guys, lonely, because I'm the only one Christian background, and you all non-Christian background. So the pastor looked at me and told me, don't mock us. You're the roots. We're just the additives. We're just some salt and pepper over the top of a meal. You're the main meal. I told him, okay, don't be mad about this. Let's take it for whatever reason it is. That's what God is doing. Susie had a great time in Syria. She went enormous time, like many times, to serve among the women over there. By the way, if the children, youth, and men among the refugee communities, they suffer, women, they suffer more and more and more. If you would like to know why, how, and how to do it, because you have here in the States big number of refugees. If you don't believe me, I'll give you their addresses, or I'll give you where you can find them. So she was working really intensely among these women, and it was really awesome. Over there, I had a chance, because of you, to finish what I have started researching since 2016, which is basically, I went on research and I went and wrote to myself how to minister to the third culture community, which is basically refugees, non-Christian and stuff. And in the newsletter, the green newsletter, there is a good article about this. And if you are interested to know more, please let me know, because when we go and serve refugees, I took a friend of mine one day, and this is what he did. Well, brother, you're a sinner. You have to be convinced that you're a sinner, and you're going to die. You're going to die in your sin. And by the way, you're going to go to hell. And when you go to hell, I told him, enough what you're saying. You're going to, I was waiting for him to say, oh, you're going to be barbecued in heaven or something, or smoked or something like this. So serving among third culture community is totally different than serving Christian background Christian background people. So in this newsletter, you're going to find a lot of information about this. I'm going to skip some of this information till later, and let me tell you very quickly about 2 Peter. 2 Peter, I'm going to take an exhortation or encouragement out of it, and then I'll show you a couple of pictures and one video, like 30 seconds video. I promised to bring it the last maybe 2 or 3 years, and I brought it finally. 2 Peter talk about our status, then our state, our position, our responsibility. But we're not going to come to this in details. Let's go and read 2 Peter together. 2 Peter 1, 5-7. This is what Peter said. Make every effort, which is another translation, give all diligence to add to your faith excellence. I'm finishing with this. One time I met a Jewish scholar, and his name is West. He's a rabbi, used to be a rabbi, and he told me when we were talking about a certain ministry, he told me, don't start something if you're not going to finish it in an excellent way. I told him, what? Repeat it. So he said it in Hebrew. I understood more than half of it, but I told him, say it again in English. He said, don't start something if you're not going to finish it in an excellent way. It's not the idea to finish it. This is what he said. It's the idea to finish it in an excellent way. And this is exactly what Peter said. And I'm going to show you, coming back to the analogy I use for black suit. Some, when we minister to our fellow Christian, we do the same. You're wrong. You have to live this. You have to do this. And we got people so bored of what we teach them, but it's rather than taking their hand and telling them, let me give you an alternative and I'll show you how to wear it. And instead of just using that kind of guilt button, just take your people's hand and show them how to do it. To do this, you have to put all efforts, all diligence to excel. Boaz, when he met with Ruth, first time, he told her, all the people, or all my people have told me that you are a woman of virtue, which is the same word of excellence, which is in Hebrew, fadila. This is what we really need to do, because our time here started to be very short. If you don't believe me, you have to. You really have to. So if you're not going to finish it right with excellence, don't even think about doing anything. Leave others to do it. Diligence is something I'm not going to have time to talk about the 4 verses, but let me skip this and I'll show you what diligence is in a picture. Diligence, these people, when they have submitted their life to Jesus, nobody told them to stand while they're praying. Nobody told them when they feel God's presence, they fell on the floor. Nobody told them this, but they wanted to live their Christian walk in an excellent way. Nobody told these 2 elder women that when they know they are going to be baptized, they stood and danced. Nobody told them this, but they stood and danced. Why? Because they were so happy. And the rest of the congregation, they were so happy. This group, when they were baptized, young men and women, Susie and I, we brought them crosses. It's very dangerous. It's very risky. It's very not okay for you to wear a big cross outside your t-shirt, walk with it in Turkey. It's not okay. It's not safe. And yet, they took crosses for themselves, for their families, for their sibling, and they are still wearing it for 2 years. Every time I keep asking them, are you anxious or afraid? They said, no, we love to carry Jesus on our heart. That is excellence. That's really excellence. Well, Helen the last of the samurai, the one joined ORU this week, when she was a senior high schooler, and she came with Holly and the rest of the gang to Turkey several times. She took off her school, even her grades was affected, and after she recovered from the loss of some of the grades, she said, I don't care. I don't care. What is 3.9? It's not different from 4.0, so 3.9 is okay. I told her, yeah, how humble you are. So Helen, when she was there, she was treated like celebrity. And I saw my daughter everywhere. Can we take a picture with you? Can we take a selfie? Can we do this? Can we do this? I'm not saying this because Helen is my daughter, but she managed and succeeded to live her Jesus in an excellent way among the generation of her age. Please do it. Please do it. I'm not going to have time to do all this, but let me tell you this. To show you how to take off your black suit, wear the gray polo, I'm going to have some suggestions. Out of a loving, humble heart, I will say it. Consider it as a script, RX. We in the house, we do all our life is just RX because we're all in medicine. So RX, RX, RX potato, RX rice. No. I mean, RX. Everything is just an RX. So my first RX, if you want to really exceed in your faith, past, don't talk about it much. I've seen people, whenever you get together with them, they keep talking about their past, and they put the tape backwards to 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Well, I agree that you're so proud of your past, but that's not my issue to hear about it for an hour and a half. So, summarize it, give me the Reader Digest of it, and speak Jesus. Speak Jesus. I currently am very careful of asking anyone, how are you? That's a bad news for me. Bad news for me. I asked someone 3 days ago, how are you and how is your walk? I wish there's a button called mute. Mute human. I would just push it so quickly because the answer was 40 minutes. And the 40 minutes did not answer the question. No, it answered something else. I wouldn't say it, but it answered something else. So talk less, and do more, and speak Jesus. Dream shortly. I have seen Christians, they keep dreaming all their life, and they become dreamers, and they finish their life, and hasta la vista, done. So don't dream a lot. Just think and dream and do. Done. Tulin and her husband, Muhammad, I told them, what do you want to do? Now you're a believer for 2 years. What do you want to do? They said, we're taking Jesus back. I told them, back where? They told me, back home. I told her, don't. That's so risky. She said, who cares? And they took Jesus back. And they're still alive because of you. We do. Well, I think I'm going to have to finish it, but let me tell you this. Think some, pray some, plan a little, and let me finish with this picture and the video. The one on the left, last week, has bleeding stomach ulcer. And he was in a bad shape. I prescribe all the medicine and I give him the IVs and everything, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I called him a week ago and I told him, where are you? So he took this picture and sent it. And I told him, you're crazy. Are you? He said, why? I told him, why did you go to work in ministry and your IV with you? And he has his IV hanging on the wall. And he went and he sat on the floor and he kept working in the ministry. I told him, why you're doing this? He said, if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? I told him, that can compromise your bleeding. You're bleeding big time. He said, I don't care. I love when Christians told me all the time, I don't care. Yeah, because that's a godly answer. I don't care. Right? That's a godly answer. I don't care. This lady in white, she's one of our daughters, the one we added her to the album, 24. Keylada, she has a certain condition. Her eye is conus, like a cone, not a circle. So she doesn't see well at all. And at night, she doesn't see at all. So she's leading a ministry among teenage girls. If I'll give you a chance to guess one time only, how many girls she's leading? And if I'm going to tell you 360, you're going to tell me I'm a big fat liar. Yes, I'm a fat, but I'm not liar. Yeah. Let me finish now with the video I promised to bring it for the last 3 years. Ida is the one I told you about her before. She lost her son in front of her eyes, and after the ISIS beheaded him, they played soccer with his head. And yet, now, she is one of the bulldozer. I call her the bulldozer of Qamishli in North Syria. One time I was driving, she's sitting next to me, and one of my friends in the back, he asked her a question, and that was the interview. He interviewed her for 3 or 4 minutes, but I got you 30 seconds only from the interview.
أحمد قول لنا تاني عن موضوع يسوع. قول الرسالة اللي أنت قلتيها.
أنا الرسالة أوجهها، أنا كنت من خلفية إسلامية.
The translation did not show up. Let me translate. If Haney is going to offer you $5 million to leave Jesus, what is going to be your answer? Her answer was, if they are going to give me $5 million, or even they are going to tell me we're going to bring your son alive to you to leave Jesus, I wouldn't take the offer to have my son back to leave Jesus for him. As a mom, I hate to say that, but it's enough for me to wake up in the morning, to look and see a smile on Jesus' face. This is all what I need in life. She managed to be excellent in her faith. And so you will do. And we will do. Don't start something unless you want to finish it in an excellent way.